What if a face once celebrated as perfection became a cautionary story no one dares to tell? Behind the flawless images lies a far darker truth, one shaped by pressure, obsession, and impossible expectations. This isn't just a transformation, it's a slow unraveling. In the pursuit of eternal youth, every choice came at a cost, gradually erasing the identity that made her famous. The spotlight didn't just reveal her, it consumed her. In this video, we explore the emotional toll behind the change, the risks that went too far, and the 3 defining moments that altered her life forever, along with the one secret she's kept hidden until now. Janice Dickinson. During the electric fashion era of the 1970s and 80s, Janice Dickinson didn't just appear on runways, she dominated them. With striking cheekbones, piercing eyes, and an unapologetic confidence, she built a reputation as one of the most recognizable faces in high fashion. She even boldly claimed the title of the world's first supermodel, a statement that captured both her ambition and the cultural moment she helped define. Appearing on the cover of Vogue dozens of times, commonly cited around 37, though exact counts vary, she embodied a kind of natural glamour that felt effortless and enduring. But as the industry evolved, so did its expectations. The pressure to maintain youth in a business obsessed with perfection began to weigh heavily. Like many in Hollywood, Janice turned to cosmetic procedures, facelifts, breast augmentations, and tummy tucks in an effort to preserve the image that made her famous. Over time, these changes became increasingly visible, sparking public scrutiny, especially during her appearances on reality shows like Celebrity Big Brother and Botched. In recent years, however, her image has softened, reflecting a shift in perspective. The urgency to hold on to youth seems to have given way to a more grounded sense of self. Today, her story stands as a powerful reminder of the intense pressures placed on women in the spotlight. While her journey has been complex and at times difficult, there is a quiet strength in her evolution, proof that authenticity, not perfection, is where true freedom begins. Bridget Fonda. In the 1990s, Bridget Fonda stood at the center of Hollywood's spotlight, embodying a rare blend of elegance, depth, and quiet strength. Born into the legendary Fonda family, she could have relied on her name alone, but instead, she built a career defined by range and subtle power. From the tense vulnerability of single white female to the cool precision of Point of No Return, and her relaxed charm in Jackie Brown Bridget brought an understated intensity that set her apart. She wasn't just popular, she was respected, an actress many believed would remain a leading figure for decades. Then unexpectedly, she stepped away. After marrying composer Danny Elfman in 2003 and welcoming their son Bridget made a deliberate choice to leave acting behind. There was no dramatic announcement, no scandal, just a quiet decision to prioritize family and a more private life in Los Angeles. Over time, her absence became one of Hollywood's lingering questions. When recent photos of her surfaced years later, the public response revealed a harsher truth. Some fixated on her natural aging, offering criticism that underscored the very pressures she had escaped. Yet seen from another perspective, her transformation tells a different story, one of independence and self-possession. Bridget Fonda didn't fade away. She chose a different path. In walking away from an industry that often demands eternal youth, she reclaimed something far more valuable: her peace, her privacy, and the freedom to live on her own terms. Daryl Hannah. Daryl Hannah first captured the world's imagination in the 1980s, rising from the surf in Splash, with a presence that felt almost otherworldly. Tall, luminous, and unmistakably unique, she quickly became an icon of the era. Yet her appeal went far beyond beauty. From the enigmatic replicant Pris in Blade Runner to the sharp-edged Elle Driver in Kill Bill, Daryl built a career on characters that defied convention. She wasn't easily defined, and that was precisely her strength. As Hollywood's expectations grew more rigid with time, Daryl chose a different course. Rather than chasing youth or clinging to the spotlight, she stepped back, focusing on environmental activism and a quieter, more intentional life. She has spoken openly about her discomfort with the industry's fixation on appearance, even once remarking that she lacked the courage for cosmetic surgery, a statement some interpreted as vulnerability, but others saw as conviction. Like many public figures, she hasn't escaped scrutiny. In recent years, her changing appearance sparked speculation, though she has largely declined to respond. Instead, she's remained focused on what matters most to her. Now married to musician Neil Young, Daryl appears grounded in a life far removed from Hollywood's pressures. Her journey offers a different kind of narrative, one that challenges the idea that beauty must be preserved at all costs. Rather than remaining frozen in time, Daryl Hannah has embraced change, redefining herself not as a fantasy, but as a woman living with purpose and authenticity. Kelly McGillis. In 1986, Kelly McGillis embodied a rare kind of cinematic intelligence and poise. As Charlie in Top Gun, she wasn't just a romantic counterpart, she was Maverick's equal, commanding attention with quiet authority and grace. Her performances in Witness and The Accused further revealed an actress of depth and emotional range, someone whose career seemed destined for lasting prominence. But as the years passed, Kelly chose a path that diverged sharply from Hollywood's expectations. While many stars worked to preserve their on-screen image, she stepped away from the pressures of the industry, focusing instead on her personal life sobriety and later teaching acting. Her absence from Top Gun Maverick reignited public curiosity, and her response was strikingly candid. Acknowledging her age and appearance without apology, she challenged the unspoken rules that often govern women in film. Today, Kelly lives a quieter life in North Carolina, far removed from red carpets and industry demands. When recent images of her surfaced, reactions were mixed, some surprised, others deeply respectful. What many saw as a transformation was in truth something far more ordinary and honest, the natural passage of time. By choosing not to pursue cosmetic reinvention, Kelly McGillis made a subtle but powerful statement. She didn't lose her beauty, she redefined it. In a culture that often resists aging, her journey stands as a reminder that authenticity can carry more weight than illusion, and that dignity once claimed doesn't fade. Helen Hunt. In the 1990s, Helen Hunt came to represent a kind of intelligence and warmth rarely captured on screen. She carried an understated charm, both approachable and deeply thoughtful, that resonated with audiences. Whether portraying the complexities of marriage in Mad About You or delivering her Oscar-winning performance in As Good as It Gets, she brought authenticity to every role. She wasn't simply admired for her appearance. She was valued for the emotional truth she conveyed. As time moved forwards, however, Hollywood's standards shifted. The same industry that once celebrated her began to favor a more manufactured image of youth. In contrast, Helen made a quieter, more deliberate choice. She allowed herself to age naturally. When she appeared in later projects, some public reactions were unkind, often confusing the normal effects of time with something that needed correction. Rather than respond defensively, Helen remained composed, choosing not to engage in the culture of constant cosmetic reinvention. While leading roles became less frequent, she did not disappear. Instead, she expanded her work behind the camera as a director and continued to select roles that emphasized depth over appearance. Helen Hunt's journey reflects a different kind of success, one rooted in consistency and self-respect. In an industry often preoccupied with preserving youth, she has embraced change with quiet confidence. Her story is a reminder that a life fully lived leaves its mark, and that those marks can carry a kind of beauty no procedure can replicate. Shelley Duval. Shelley Duval was unlike anyone else in American cinema, a presence both fragile and unforgettable. With her delicate frame and wide, expressive eyes, she brought a haunting authenticity to every role. She wasn't a conventional starlet. She was something far more distinctive. From the anxious, unraveling Wendy Torrance in The Shining to the endearing Olive Oyl in Popeye, Shelley gave performances marked by vulnerability and emotional honesty. As a frequent collaborator of director Robert Altman, she became a defining face of a more unconventional era in filmmaking. By the mid-1990s, however, Shelley began to step away from the industry. After the 1994 Northridge earthquake and a growing desire for privacy, she returned to her home state of Texas, gradually withdrawing from public life. For years, little was heard from her, which only deepened public curiosity. Then, in 2016, her appearance on Dr. Phil drew widespread attention and concern, revealing her struggles with mental health and sparking debate about how former stars are treated once they leave the spotlight. Yet her story did not end there. In later years, Shelley found renewed support from fans who recognized her lasting impact. She even made a brief return to acting in The Forest Hills 2023, a quiet but meaningful final chapter before her passing in 2024. Shelley Duval's life cannot be reduced to tragedy. It is instead a story of individuality, resilience, and artistic courage, reminding us that true legacy is not measured by fame alone, but by the depth of one's humanity. Tina Yothers. Throughout the 1980s, Tina Yothers was a familiar and comforting presence in American homes. As Jennifer Keaton on Family Ties, she grew up on screen with a natural charm, sharp wit, and a grounded relatability that made her feel like part of the family. Alongside a standout cast, she held her own with ease, becoming the quintessential younger sister for a generation, shaped by sitcom values and shared living room moments. But as with many child actors, the path into adulthood presented its challenges. Instead of chasing continued fame or clinging to the spotlight, Tina made a deliberate and measured choice. She stepped away from the industry, choosing stability over visibility and focusing on her personal life and family. It wasn't a retreat, it was a recalibration. Now in her 50s, Tina reflects a different kind of success. She no longer resembles the polished image audiences remember from her television days, and for some, that contrast has been surprising. Yet she has approached aging with a calm, practical acceptance, opting out of the cosmetic trends that have become common in Hollywood. For Tina, her appearance isn't something to correct. It's a reflection of experience. Her story offers a quieter but meaningful perspective that fulfillment doesn't have to come from staying in the spotlight. By choosing authenticity over expectation, Tina Yothers has built a life defined not by fame, but by contentment and self-possession. Nicollette Sheridan. In the high-stakes world of television drama, Nicollette Sheridan built a reputation as a magnetic scene-stealing presence. From her early days on Knots Landing to her unforgettable role as the cunning and charismatic Edie Britt on Desperate Housewives, she brought a bold energy that was equal parts glamour and mischief. With her signature blonde hair, sharp wit, and confident screen presence, she became a defining bombshell figure for more than one generation of viewers. But sustaining that image over decades comes with its own pressures. As Nicollette moved into her 50s and beyond, public attention shifted from her performances to her appearance. Red carpet photos were scrutinized, and speculation about cosmetic procedures became a recurring narrative, an all too familiar pattern for women who have spent years in the spotlight. Yet Nicollette has never leaned into that narrative. Rather than retreat, she has maintained a composed and self-assured presence, choosing to engage with her career and life on her own terms. Her later work, including her role in the Dynasty reboot, along with various business pursuits, reflects a continued commitment to staying active and relevant without surrendering to outside expectations. Her story is not one of decline, but of persistence. By embracing her choices, both personal and professional, Nicollette Sheridan demonstrates that longevity in Hollywood doesn't require perfection. It requires resilience, independence, and the confidence to move forward without apology. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.